A race for the White House, tension in the Middle East, and so much more. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. It's very nice to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
There's a lot to talk about in this election. Tonight, we're going to see former President Trump speaking with Elon Musk on X. I don't know if you think that's going to improve his fortunes in this campaign or not.
I think it will. I think there's an opportunity there. Elon brings a brand of independence and also taps into this frustration of expansion of government, more limited government. I think that'll bode well for Trump in that manner.
Can you explain this? The Financial Times has a poll out, which I'm sure you saw, with the headline, Kamala Harris is more trusted than Donald Trump on the U.S. economy. What do you make of that?
I make that's just euphoria that Biden is no longer the nominee. I mean, look, are Democrats in a better place than they were with Biden? Yes, but with Biden, they weren't just going to lose, they were going to crater everything. What I read in that poll, Democrats are playing defense. I mean, if you think of the Electoral College and you give President Trump just what he won last time, all he has to win is Pennsylvania and Georgia, and he's at 270. The whole play is defense. And if you also read that poll, Democrats are excited they're ahead by a couple points. Well, Hillary was ahead by further. Biden was ahead by further. But the other thing is, Trump didn't diminish. He actually went up to his highest points in the 3 swing states at 46. So she has to play defense. Now, it's a different race for us. If this race, whoever this race is about, loses, if this race is about the economy, if it's about the border, if it's about crime, Kamala's in a very weak place. But if it's about personality, it gives her an advantage.
What do you make of her pivot or move over the weekend? And I know former President Trump's calling it a copycat move, but effectively to say, you know what, we're not going to tax tips as well. Sort of this idea, and we keep hearing it, but we haven't, I think, fully seen it realized just yet, that on some of her policies, economic and otherwise, that she may actually shift to the center. And how much harder does that make it for the president, if in fact, for the former president, that is, if in fact she does that?
I would have her say that, then I'd come right back and show exactly what she did. Not only did she vote for, she was the swing vote to hire all the new IRS agents to go after you on how you reported your tips. So she would become a flip-flopper on almost everything, which would be a bad position for her. You haven't contested this race yet. You haven't laid out, in her own words, on every single position, she's in a weak spot. Now, look, Kamala always starts strong. When she went to run for president, she had the best opening. She had 40,000 people in Oakland. She had all this money came in, but she never even made it to Iowa. So on a long race, Kamala doesn't do well, but this is a short race.
You made some headlines over the weekend suggesting that she's some kind of puppet for Obama.
No,
that he's running the campaign or something. What was that about?
I didn't use the term puppet. They editorialized.
That was the idea.
No, my take was it's a much different race. You can tell Biden's people are no longer running the race, okay? She's taking one play out of Biden, don't talk to the press. Because when she talks without teleprompter, she does poorly. So keep her out of the press. From that
standpoint, you think the idea is that she's going to, I'm assuming, maybe I'm totally wrong, that she has to get to the convention, she wants to put out all of her policy stuff at that convention, and then I imagine, I hope that she will end up talking to folks like us on CNBC and others, no?
You would hope, but it doesn't look like she's going to that much. Biden didn't. It's the one place that gave them an advantage, just to not make it about themselves. But she's bringing new people into the campaign, Obama people, so you see a fundamental difference. Hillary didn't work hard. Biden never went anywhere. They're going state after state. That's a different campaign. That means we Republicans have to work harder. Her messaging is better. Anytime it's an open seat for the presidency, it's aspirational. You use the term future. She's using language that I used when we ran to win the Congress. An economy that works for everyone, right? So she's using language that has nothing to do with her policy.
How do you think former President Trump is doing right now? There were a whole bunch of stories over the weekend that said that he's very frustrated, that he's angry, that this honeymoon period for her is putting him in a tough spot. What does he do to recalibrate? He says he doesn't need to.
No, I think on the issues itself, he can run on the border, he can run on the economy, and he can run on crime, and he will beat her every step of the way. You just have to run on those policies. Look, this is a man who's been through much worse. You've watched everything that transpired. I don't think America has seen this much in a 9-week time frame of politics, a president almost being assassinated, a president being convicted, a debate, a incumbent president actually pull out. That's a lot to go on with. You have to recalibrate the race, okay? Every Sunday, the football team puts a new strategy because it's a new defense. It's a new offense you're going up against.
Does he
That's what he has to do.
Does he recalibrate? Is there going to be a new
It's
strategy?
a different race between Biden. Biden's race was all about his age and capacity. And even Democrats weren't voting for him. So it was all collapsing. Now it's a different place. But I would look at it from this. There's pros and there's cons. It's a new person, so it's a tougher race. But this is the weakest person they could have picked. Had they selected somebody else, had they selected Whitmer or somebody else, the race would be much tighter. You also...
I think the race would be much tighter.
It shows he's losing right now.
He's losing right now.
Okay. Even Axelrod's... you look at Axelrod's word. He says the enthusiasm from Democrats is actually wrong. The advantage is still to Trump. They're playing defense. They have to win every single
The
state.
Electoral College math is still an advantage for former President Trump,
Yeah.
right? But you would have to say, though, if the game at this point is activating people who hadn't made up their mind a month ago or were just anti-Biden, Trump seems to have the ceiling. He has an amazingly strong core, and he's been around for 9 years, and we know what it is. And her slogan has become, "We're not going to go back."
Yeah. That's a good slogan.
Yeah.
It's an important one. That's why Trump has to lay out the case for where you go. And I think you can make that case against her based upon her policies. Remember, she's from San Francisco. The other thing, too, is when Biden won, and you think that was a big race, right? He won by a big margin, you think, 82 million votes? It only came down to 48,918 votes.
Close.
And his favorability was plus 10. That's not where she's at.
J.D. Vance.
Yes.
Does he help or hinder the Trump ticket?
Well, the VP doesn't determine the outcome, but I'm watching J.D. Vance in the last week be an asset. I watch him being the place that Trump shouldn't be. You want an attack dog. You want someone to go do the negative, and you go do the policy. And that's exactly what he's doing. I thought his movement, while he walked across the way and just literally challenged the press to, why haven't you asked her a question? Now you're all talking about it. Before, no one mentioned it. They just gave her euphoria, right? That was a smart move. It kind of changed the debate. And you're looking at him. He's going out. You need an attack dog of VP.
What did you make of Trump claiming over the weekend, I think incorrectly, or it's not that I think, I know incorrectly, that her audience at these rallies is somehow produced by AI? In fact, we have Vivek Ramaswamy coming on the program in the next hour. He actually took to Twitter and said, you know what, the president shouldn't be making these kind of claims.
No. This is a place, and remember, I give President Trump a break. This is a man who, a month ago, almost became assassinated. Literally that part away, right? And then the person you've been running against for more than 4 years is out. So there's a shift here. Stick to the issues. Keep it off personalities. Stick to the economy, to border and crime, and use just Kamala's
quickly,
language.
In like 10 seconds, what should we all be thinking about the tax cuts and what happens with that? It's a ticking time bomb. What's going to happen?
It is a ticking time bomb. Remember, Article 1, Section 7, all tax reform starts in the House. So it's however this election turns out. It's got to start in the House. If Republicans...
But it's going to be so close regardless. So what can possibly get done?
Well, remember the last tax cuts you had the same way, where you had to come in. Some were sustained and some went away. I think that same thing's going to go, because the ones that you keep out there that have to be debated are the most popular ones. The others got locked in. So you know what? It's hard to move some of those away.
What do you think is locked in?
Well, the ones we already took away, the ones that are up now, I think SALT becomes a debate, because I think it's harder to keep that going. And the other thing is, if you do nothing, it goes away.
Can I ask you one other question? Because we talked about it on the set a couple months ago. If you remember, the Wall Street Journal came out with a report that said that former President Trump, if he wins, wanted to have more sway over the Federal Reserve and its independence. And Joe and you, I asked you guys all about it, and you said, well, that's, you know, who knows what these people are saying. We have not, you know, these stories are totally wrong, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Then we see former President Trump last week on camera, physically saying, yeah, I'd like to have a bigger say in all of this. So what are we supposed to think about that?
Yeah, but Tell me what law has changed that's going to give him more sway. The president still gets to appoint, and the Senate confirms. The Senate's going to still be in a tight margin. The Senate's going to have a few senators that are going to control a lot. So whether they confirm that person or not, I think that's going to be a major question.
Do you think he picked Powell because he thought Powell would be more swayable? Even just
No.
in a broad,
I don't think that was the point. I think, knowing the time of when he was doing it, I think it was the experience and where we were going through at the time.
Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, good to see you.
Thank you for being here.
Look forward to coming back.
We'll see you back. We'll see you.